Let's go.
We are now recording the September 7th, 2018 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So our first subject today, QuickBooks Desktop 2019 is now out. So I've received my email that I have software on my Pro Advisor site ready to download. Has anybody downloaded it yet?
Nah. I let Hector and everybody else do it first.
They've done it.
So then I can see if there's anything really juicy in there that, you know.
And Linda, you went to Hector's Power Hour yesterday.
To two seminars on QuickBooks 2019, Hector's QB Power Hour and Joe Woodard's NAN monthly webinar. I'm going to share my screen right now with you, and this is going to show you basically what you get in 2019. This shows you the features, and this shows you which version: Pro and Premium, Accountant version, Enterprise Solutions, Payroll, and whether it's US, Canada, or the UK.
I love that they've
yeah,
made it
nice.
international.
Yes, and the invoice status tracker looks a lot like QuickBooks Online with the colored bar
That they have there, yep.
and it just makes it a lot faster to see where anything's at. Everything's all linked together and it's real kind of clear. This one, transferring credit, is amazing because what happens is you'll have customers and then the customers have a lot of jobs under them. And people and the customers overpay a job and they want the credit to apply to another job. And depending on how your customer received the payment, you can't apply that credit to another job. So this does it kind of automatically. And notice that's everywhere that does that.
Nice.
The converting a check to pay bill, that's really, it used to be that when you would go in, it would say, are you sure you want to write a check? You have a bill to this vendor. And
Right.
now but it would highlight in green the write the check. Now they've kind of made the write the check kind of a plain color, and they highlighted in green open pay bills. So it kind of more forces, if your layperson clients doing their QuickBooks is not paying a lot of attention, they'll just go to the green button and they'll pay the bill, which is kind of nice. It's what you want them to do. And then the easy upgrade is only plus. Now, that is kind of like a subscription, but basically it's just an auto renew. That's what that is. Plus
A
is
monthly auto renew?
No.
Yearly?
it's yearly auto renew.
Okay, so account plus means that as long as you keep paying, you would then get 2000 and 2001, right? But I read it as that if you stop paying, 2019 stops working. Did he address that?
Well, what's really odd about it is that you can't stop paying for it. You just automatically pay for it and you automatically get it. However, you just get an email telling you to install the new one. You've already paid for it because it's on an annual day that it renews. Okay?
Right.
So
you
have to actually install it.
I just got my email that they're gonna hit my card for 800 and some crazy amount of money.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a Pro Advisor with Desktop. Okay, so I can download 19, but if I decide not to be a Pro Advisor next year, will my 19 break?
Yes.
That's the way I'm reading it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true.
Then it's a subscription. I don't care what they
called
say.
Into it and said, and they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what the word plus means.
It's kind of like the language.
Yeah, I don't know about the plus, but I can tell you on a Pro Advisor level, that's absolutely true.
But why? I mean, we're paying a good about, it's not like we're getting that much of a discount. you know, on Accountant Premier.
You don't have to sell me, sister.
All you have to do then is just buy it. And you can either buy it auto, or you can not buy it auto renew, just buy it and install it. It's
So
not,
if you buy it and install it, then you get to keep it and it doesn't break. But it does break in 2 years anyway.
3 years.
Three. When it sunsets, you
Well,
lose
yeah,
all the
yeah.
ability to email invoices.
But it breaks if you have all the add-on features, but I've got copies going all the way back. They're not broken. They're just not hooked to payroll or invoicing or, you know.
you're fine.
I can
Except that,
still open up a 2016 file if I need to.
yes, you can. But one of the things that's, I don't know how to put it.
I don't know.
Anyway, we stopped here, but the data file optimization, if you have a very large data file and you want to speed it up some, you can actually, oh, somebody else is showing something different.
Popped in.
Oh, I have no idea where that came from.
Okay.
Well,
It's got to be Ernest. Is it Ernest? Nope, not Ernest.
no, I have no idea what happened there. Let me.
If
Is
you're
that
sharing
you?
your screen, are you sure it's not you?
It was her. It was you, Linda.
Linda.
Yeah,
share
it
the
was
share
second.
screen.
It was the second slide in her slide deck, probably, or something.
Oh, okay.
My slide deck, what it is I did a screenshot of the seminar this morning, so it's
Yeah.
one of Joe Woodard's slide decks, or it's Intuit slide deck, because Joe asked permission to take the slide deck and do it that way.
Linda, let me go back to the credit thing, because I actually have a client right now that wanted me to write a custom.
Did you just mute?
I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute.
Oh, well, hold on.
Go back,
Hold on.
Ernest.
There
I'm
you go.
sorry.
There,
That's okay.
talk again, Ernest.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the credit thing, because I have a client who's paying me right now. They have thousands of invoices that they want to get rid of by applying credits from one credit memo. Is this new feature going to solve that, or do I still need to write that application?
I don't know. You would have to, Ernest, you're the one who can figure that one out.
Well, I just haven't seen the application, so are the new
One
versions.
credit memo to multiple customers?
No, the way it works,
Multiple invoices,
No, you can do that now.
thousands.
With the accountant's cleanup tool, you should.
yeah, I think what this does is it uses a clearing account. It does a little mini journal entry, so it takes the credit away from the customer job and puts it back to the customer, and then it does the reverse journal entry that takes it from that customer to the other customer job you want to apply it to.
Which is the trick that we do anyway, if you know what you're doing, if you know
Yeah,
the trick.
right.
So it's
Except
just
that
sort
it
of
does
automated.
automatically and visibly behind the scenes.
And that's moving things in between jobs and customers.
That's all it's doing, right? It's not doing it by credit memo. It's by doing it by there is this credit already floating
It's just
loose.
journal entries. It's just supposed to be journal entries for you,
Ernest?
right?
Are you a pro advisor? Can't you go get 19 and try it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's on my list.
I got it.
It's on my list this week, too. It's one of the
Yep.
things that didn't happen.
I'm not wasting time on the weekend on it, though.
I'm actually going to, around here where I live, there's a lot of historical stuff. So this weekend, there's a place called Joanna's Furnace, and they're doing their big fall festival. So that's what I'll be doing. I won't be doing QuickBooks.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Hey, so I actually watched the NAN thing as well today. And this might be a good segue to compare. Is that a great NAN benefit? Because I thought their synopsis of 2019 was pretty good. What do you think, Linda?
I thought it was excellent, and I really the Excel. They always have an Excel monthly tip of the month, and it was something that just blows me away. You know, about how he took 10,000 records and he did all this. He put in a period, he put in a number in the letter V, and if it had an A or an M, it deleted the A and the M, and then it moved stuff from the next line down up to that other line.
I don't like that part.
Yeah.
I don't like that part because the guy was like showing you how to do Excel as a data entry tool, and I'm like, no.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But the other part was, how did you like, at the end, he went over 4 steps to get 0 emails in your inbox once a day.
Oh, yeah. I actually use a lot of those principles today, and I thought it was great.
I do too. I never have more than one page, more than 20 emails in my inbox.
I'm an email Nazi. Every time I see somebody with 500 emails they haven't read yet, I just
my husband. I'm
right.
Like, he says I've read them, and I'm like, but they still say unread. Right. It would make me crazy.
Oh, it totally makes me insane.
Makes me insane.
I have friends that have 10,000. They just don't look at their emails. And when you tell them, if you click on that box at the top and you let it go down and then just unclick the most recent 20, you can just say delete, and all the rest of them will be, oh, I can't do that. I might want to read them. Oh, yeah, right.
Well, I have an employee that if it says read, she's already read it, but it's unread because she has to do something with it. It becomes her task list. And I'm like, then scroll down and tell me why there's stuff from 2, 3, 4, 6 months ago.
Because they're on the D list.
Well, they get buried. They start going down.
Oh, no, I'm just, yeah.
So, all right, so you're talking about, now, Linda, you saw Hector's. Plus, there's all kinds of articles hitting the blogs about the 19. And then you saw Joe's. And now, Hector's was free. And Joe's is what, $420 a year?
No, come on. You get a lot more in Joe's.
35 a month. 35 a month times 10 is what?
Oh, it's 10 months?
And then another 70. So that's 412. Oh, that's what you said, 420. Wow, we both do math really well.
Not like accounting here or anything.
I had to do a calculator, but I'm impressed you did that in your head.
I did. Well, you noticed how I did it, though.
Yeah, you had to go that way and that way and that way, and then there it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I just reach over to this magical thing over here.
I really like Joe. I want to support his work.
Yeah.
And we got that really fancy breakfast at Scaling New Heights. So it just keeps me up to date on the latest. And since I'm not a member of Sleater anymore because Sleater's gone, that's why I joined Nan.
Oh, that's how I'm
look at it.
If we have time at the end of the thing, I'll tell you about it.
Is that why you were on it? Ernest, he was on the seminar this morning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And since I am a group leader for Woodard, obviously I'm going to speak very highly of it because I think, the concept is great. One of the things that I've challenged a lot of the other group leaders with is in this day and age where there's 15 other Facebook groups. I mean, it used to be the value was you could get an answer to a question, much like we're doing today. In this day and age, where there's all these Facebook groups and you get answers and that kind of a thing, so, absolutely, I agree that some of the value has been pulled away.
Yeah,
from the
some
group.
of it has.
Yeah. But I think it's still a great value.
I do too. And I want to support Joe because I think he's done so much for the community. And he got
our new crowd now.
There for a short time. And he's doing what he needs to do to get everything back on track. I may become a group leader for for Nan, because there is not one right where I am. I mean, I could drive 40 miles and get to one, but.
I think one of the things that, you know, I mean, sure, Hector did his review, and that's great. But Joe actually had Intuit engineers and product managers on the phone, and one of the things that he offered up was, send me your top 10 feature requests, and I will forward those on to the Intuit engineers.
Yep.
Yeah, he
That's
has pretty deep
access.
connections. He has pretty deep connections with Intuit.
Yeah, it has really good connections. So that kind of access, I think, is important.
He's going to put them together and sort them and order them when he sends them over to them, so that it'll be a full report of people in the NAN groups what they want. So.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Sarah.
She's dragging her mom in front of the screen.
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah. Who do we have with us?
It's my mama.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Mom.
She
Sarah,
works with
we
me.
need to take care of, you need to send me an invoice so I can pay you for QuickBooks Connect, because I want to get it transferred into my name, okay?
I will do that.
Thank you very much.
So back on our subject of NAN. Dennis, you've been a NAN member for many, many years. Linda,
Yes.
you're brand new, and
I'm not a member anymore though,
you've given your membership up.
because I've become a lot more focused on tax, and I mean, I enjoyed it, but the main reason was I was paying like $10 a month, and they raised it to like 35, and I thought, you know, I can't cost justify it, so I just.
That makes sense. It wasn't a raise for me.
For you, Linda, though, it's valuable information you can get and use.
Do you get a discount to scaling?
I believe. Well, they used to have. I don't know if they do. Do they just have one membership price? They used to have like about 3 different levels where you got a lot more stuff at $35 or $45 a month. That I don't know what happened after they raised the basic to 35. They may have consolidated it. I don't know.
Yeah, so let me let the cat out of the bag. As a group leader, I don't pay any fees.
All right, what do we have to do to be a group leader? Everybody in South Georgia.
Find out if there's already one in your area.
You got to drag 4 other people into a meeting.
Should have waited till we're done recording.
And since Joe's from Georgia, Sarah, I don't know.
I know he's family in Savannah.
I know. So I don't think you have too much hope to be not in
Well,
Georgia.
there's nobody around here. There's nobody around here.
You could have a group on your island.
There you go.
There's not one in Savannah.
The Gator group.
The Gator group.
All righty. On to our next subject.
Yes.
UBO and Wells Fargo, the bank feeds have broken.
That's like one of the largest banks in the country. So what's going
And
on?
it's been gone on for days now.
Mhm.
For days.
Days.
Oh, wait a minute. I was in QBO last night, and I had to rehook it up, and it worked.
Yours worked when you rehooked it up? I've tried
Yeah.
everything.
It might be working now, but I did hear in another group I'm in, sometimes the transactions are reversed. So the debits are coming in as credits and vice versa.
Horrible.
And I'm so afraid to like go back and look because I'm so tired of dealing with all the others. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, it's been broken.
And I've tried I tried the IIF to import. I've tried the CSV, and I could not get any of them to work. Any of them. It
You
just
have
said
to-
to me,
yeah.
it gave me the error, there are no transactions. And when I actually opened the file up, there were transactions there. So,
Well, my husband's bank account is with Wells Fargo, so I'm heading in. You better not have anything backwards.
I know. I didn't want to go look
I'm
at
so
that.
sick. All these tools are supposed to make our lives easier.
I know. And that was my question. If your process is so streamlined that, you have allotted 5 minutes for this, and that's a long time. I mean, you can update and check off those things pretty quickly. And all of a sudden, now it's not working. What do? You have to enter them. And what do you do when your time isn't there?
You just say WTF over and over and over.
That's right. Because I was working on my S corp, and I had to go in to see something. But anyway, so you're right. I went to hook it up, and it said it try again tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
Mine has been try again tomorrow, try again tomorrow, try again tomorrow for 3 days.
Sarah, you've been tricked. It says it works, and then it doesn't after like another second or so.
No, it is not updated in 8 days.
Yeah. I had to manually put stuff in because someone needed it for a loan. Yeah. I know. That's
okay, so does anybody know, hearing any chatter about what's going on, or ETA, or what?
Just from what's in the groups, you know, they were blaming it on Intuit at first. Now it's being blamed on Wells Fargo. And I'm sure Wells Fargo is one of the bigger banks, and a lot of people in QuickBooks or QBO does use Wells Fargo. So I can imagine they are getting big feedback on, you know, what's happening here. But banks tend to do things on their own speed at their own time, and you just have to deal with it. Silence all of a sudden.
Oh, I gotta get out of this. This is upsetting. Bye. Goodbye. Okay, I'm back.
Dwayne, you've had some issues with this also.
Yeah. The one client that I have is One United Bank, and it's been having a message for the last week and a half that the security instructions need to be updated.
So is this Wells Fargo, or you said One United?
One United, yeah.
A different bank.
All right. Well, what about HubDoc? How about other things that are hooked up to banks?
I didn't want to go look that far. It's already.
I don't want to know.
Because my zero, oh God. Okay, let me go look real quick.
I'm going to go look.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I did have a bank feed problem right before the Wells Fargo with another client with a local bank. And that I just shut it down, waited a day, called the bank the next day, and apparently I was locked out for whatever reason. I tried too many times. I was unlocked and I was able to get in, no problem. So I thought it was just Wells Fargo. But Dwayne, you're telling me someone else now, One United. Is that a local bank?
Yeah, I think it is a local bank.
Yeah.
So I wonder if something happened with Intuit that they were trying. I know they're trying to do something with the banks and the bank feed.
But, you know, I had problems with Wells Fargo about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the client fixed it. But it took the client about 2 weeks to get it done.
And how did the client fix it? They just went in and
didn't tell them, just went in and did whatever they were instructed to do, and then it was working.
Wow.
Well, Wells Fargo is working in Zero, but they also have some sort of special deal going on really well with each other, so that isn't broken. So let me go see HubDoc.
But I think, didn't Intuit issue an email saying that there was a problem with the bank fees?
Did you get an email with
Capital One.
I think so.
I did not.
Something.
I thought that was the Capital One, or
I remember when the Capital One problem happened, and mine is back to being broken again, my Capital One.
mine is, yeah, and Citibank, both. Those two. Well, Sarah, my HubDoc seems to be working fine.
Yeah.
But, well, no, I take that back. I don't have August statements, but I have checks. That's weird.
So as far as the Intuit problem is, there's several banks happening now that they're having problems and issues with. That's a little scary.
You know what I'm wondering?
What?
I'm wondering if any of it has to do with the new SSL thing. Ernest, do you know what I'm talking about? There's something that
The security, yeah.
it's a security thing and it just went into effect.
These are huge companies. They wouldn't be
that
behind.
all of your
That's funny,
problems
Ernest.
have to be
That you think Intuit like, oops, we forgot to change our settings.
I don't know.
You're muted, Ernest. Let me read.
Yeah, you're muted.
Okay.
I could totally see that happening at a bank, right? Like,
Oh, dump bag.
oops,
Oh, we forgot.
that one connection to that one application, that person didn't get that done. Oops. That's what I can see.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yeah, Intuit side is fine, but it's the other side that could be more problematic.
Yeah, because it's all the banks that have been telling us, and I got something from Avalara too. I'm getting emails saying, remember, the SSL has to be updated to the latest version, or none of this stuff is going to work.
Yeah, well, and it's not necessarily, it could be, layers down, but the real thing is banks. I mean, and if you don't know this, you have to know this. Banks don't want to make these connections happen.
I don't blame them.
So one of the things, you may not know this, but Intuit has, in addition to their whole software that we're into, they also have a bank side where they service a lot of credit unions. They have so much data that they can farm today. It's just insane. So people like Chase and Wells Fargo and people that aren't using the Intuit banking platform, they have a lot of reasons to not make this work.
Well, that just blows my processes right out the door.
Yeah. I hear you, but if you don't know that underlying thing about the financial institutions, there's plenty of articles out there that talk about the major friction between the large financial institutions not really wanting to facilitate that data flow at the consumer level, but I think at some level it also exists at the business level. They have to have a financial reason to offer the service, and $10 a month may not actually be doing.
Or people leave them to go somewhere else that does.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, if it gets to that level, that's the calculation that's made on an institution by institution basis.
And that's my feedback to banks like Santander. I'm sorry, I don't use your bank and I don't recommend it because you're very poor online.
Yeah. But again, they've got to have a financial reason for offering that service as an awesome RAM. So, I mean, that's why I kind of, I laugh about some of these, like Xero, who really don't work very well unless they have a good connection.
Right. Well,
that's a single point of failure for that entire application.
Right.
Wow.
If the bank fees don't work, it doesn't work.
Right. Right. Sarah, how big is your coffee cup? Oh, that's a picture that it looked like a coffee cup.
Picture.
I thought you were talking to me. In a little glass.
I know, right? All right. We'll continue this conversation next week. See how the bank feeds are working.
Yeah. Chase doesn't work. So interestingly for me,
Chase is broken in HubDoc for me.
Chase checking account works fine. My credit card no longer syncs.
Really?
So all of this, this is scary.
Well, that's like the biggest reason to go to QBO. So without the bank feeds, I'm perfectly happy in my little desktop.
We're back to desktop again.
Perfectly happy.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to end for today. Same time, same place, next week.
Yay!
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
And we're